You pull into the lot for the thing that matters, the interview, the date, the second chance, and before the engine is even off, you watch it happen on a stranger's face. They look at the car, then they look at you. And in that order, in that half second, they decide who you are. You have not said a word, and you will not get the chance to because the car has already spoken for you. And the car does not always tell the truth. This is how the world reads a man before he opens his mouth. From no car at all to $1 million. Watch what the metal says about you at every level, and watch how, at every single one of them, it is lying. Level 1, no car, $0. You get everywhere on other people's terms. You ask a friend for a ride and you hear it. The half-second pause before the yes, the small arithmetic of how far out of the way you are. You tell a date you will just meet them there because the alternative is explaining. And you watch something cool by a few degrees in their reply. At the interview, they ask, lightly, how you got in today, and you say the bus, and you feel the word land and sit there on the table between you. You turned down work once because you could not solve how to reach it, and you told no one that was the real reason. You carry the heavy bags the long way home in the heat, while cars pass with one person in them. You are always the one being collected, dropped off, waited for, and never the one who offers. Nobody is cruel about it. They are worse than cruel. They are patient with you, the way people are patient with a thing that slows them down. With no car, you are not a man with a destination. You are a logistics problem that other people keep agreeing to solve, and the world quietly files you under everyone you have ever made late. Level 2, $1,000. Now you have a car, if you are generous with the word. It announces you before you arrive, the rattle at idle, the door that is a slightly different color than the rest, the cough of smoke when it turns over. You have learned to park it away from the good cars, nose out, in the spot nobody fights for. At a red light, the man in the next lane glances over, and you watch his face do a small, automatic thing. A flattening, a decision, and his eyes return to the road a fraction too fast. It stalls at a green light once, and the horns start instantly. A whole row of people certain in the same second that the problem is you and not the machine. You pull up to collect someone, and they are already moving toward the car quickly. The way you move when you would rather not be seen getting in. A lot attendant tracks you from the booth the whole way to the space. None of them know a single thing about you, and none of them need to, because the car has told them a story. And the story is that something in your life has gone wrong and might be catching. $1,000 car does not say you are poor. It says you are a risk, and the world checks its locks against risks without ever deciding to. Level 3, $7,000. A clean-used sedan in a color chosen by no one, the automotive equivalent of clearing your throat quietly. It starts every time. Nothing on the dashboard glows at you. And the first thing you notice is what stops happening. The man at the next light does not look over. The attendant does not track you. The clerk inside stops watching your hands as you reach for your wallet. You move through a whole day and nobody braces, nobody glances, nobody locks anything as you pass. After years of being read as a warning, the silence feels like setting down something heavy. It takes a while to understand what the silence actually is. You notice you have stopped rehearsing the sentence you used to prepare, the one that explained the car before anyone could ask. Nobody is suspicious of you anymore. Nobody is anything about you anymore. You did not become respectable. You became unreadable, a blank the eye slides off on its way to something more interesting. You stopped being a problem the room solves, and you did not start being a person the room notices. At $7,000, the car finally goes quiet about you, and you mistake the absence of suspicion for the presence of respect. They are not the same thing, and you will learn the difference at both ends of this climb. Level 4, $30,000. Something new now, with a badge people recognize and a finish that catches the light in the lot. And for the first time in your life, the car begins to lie in your favor. You sit down across a desk to ask for something, a loan, a lease, a yes. And the man opposite glances through the window at what you drove in on, and then slides a better set of terms across the desk than the ones he had ready a moment ago. A neighbor who has never once spoken to you stops you in the drive to ask what it costs, and then, a beat later, uses your name for the first time in 3 years. At a dinner, the parents of the person you are seeing relax half a degree when they hear your door close outside, before you have said one word worth relaxing about. When something goes wrong in a shop, you're believed now, the first time, without the long, careful explaining you used to do. People ask your opinion as though it suddenly carries a weight it did not carry last year. You did not get wiser between the 2 cars. You did not get kinder. You got financed, and the world has never once been able to tell the difference between a good man and a man with good credit. At $30,000, the lie finally tilts in your favor, and nobody warns you how good a lie can feel when it is the flattering kind. Level 5, $65,000. Now the badge means something from across a parking lot, and the world stops merely trusting you and starts performing for you. You arrive somewhere with a wait, and the wait quietly dissolves. A host who told the couple ahead of you that it would be an hour finds you a table by the glass. People angle their bodies toward you when you speak. A salesman in an unrelated shop reads the key sitting on the counter and upgrades his entire tone mid-sentence. Even people who have known you for years sit a little differently around you now, and you cannot tell whether they are proud of you or quietly recalculating what you are worth to them. And here is the part that does the real damage. It feels deserved. You start sitting straighter. You start ordering like a man who belongs, and a quiet voice tells you that maybe you always did. That this is not the car. This is only the world finally getting you right. That voice is the most expensive thing the car will ever sell you, because the moment you believe the warmth is about you, you lose the ability to tell who is treating you and who is treating the metal in the lot. At $65,000, the world performs for you so beautifully that you forget you are watching a performance. Level 6, $150,000. The car no longer asks permission, and so neither do you. You ease into the space marked for someone else, the one a beater would be towed from inside the hour, and the attendant whose entire job is to stop you instead lifts the barrier and waves you through with something close to an apology. A door that is normally guarded simply opens. A man with a clipboard who is halfway through refusing you reads the car over your shoulder, lowers the clipboard, and opens the gate without finishing the sentence. Nobody checks whether you are allowed. They have stopped asking the question entirely, because the car has already answered it, and the answer it gives is that you are obviously the kind of man who belongs wherever he chooses to stop. And the ugliest part is how quickly you stop minding, how fast being waved through stops feeling like luck and starts feeling like the natural order of things. You make a cold discovery sitting in the spot you did not earn. The barrier was never judging what you did. It was judging what you arrived in, and it had decided, long before you reached the window, that it was not built to stop a car like this. At $150,000, the world stops deciding whether to let you in, and starts assuming that it always should have. Level 7, $400,000. You cannot arrive anywhere quietly anymore. The engine drops a register, and the whole street turns its head at once. Phones lift before you have even come to a stop. At the fuel station, a small crowd gathers at a respectful distance, the way people gather at the edge of something they are not certain they are allowed to touch. People step out of your way without being asked to. Someone you knew years ago, someone who once looked straight through you, sees you behind the wheel and lights up as though you were always going to end up exactly here. And after a lifetime of being read as a problem and then read as nothing at all, being read as a marvel feels like every cold morning paid back with interest. Not one of them asks your name. They do not need it. You are the man with the car, and for now that feels like more than a name and not less. They photograph the car and they let you stay in the shot, and you let yourself believe the lens is finding you. Hold on to exactly how good this feels. Remember it. Because at the next level, the car gets so loud that it stops letting you into the picture at all. Level 8, $1 million. You do not really arrive in this car so much as it arrives, and you happen to be inside it. You pull up, and a crowd turns, and for half a second the old part of you braces for the faces to find yours. They do not. They find the car. A man lifts his phone and frames the long, low shape of it, and you're standing right there, and you watch him take a small step sideways, polite and absent, to keep you out of the shot of your own car. Someone asks, to the air near you, whether it is the new model, and does not wait to learn whether you are the kind of person who would know. A boy stares at the badge with his whole heart, the way you once stared at warm, dry faces behind glass, and his eyes never once climbed to yours. The driver who brought you here calls you sir and means the car. You stand on the curb beside the most expensive object you will ever own, and you are the least noticed thing in your own arrival, and it lands all at once, cold and complete. This is the same silence you stood in with no car at all. At the bottom, the metal told them you were a danger, and they looked away. And at the top, it tells them you are a king, and they look away exactly the same, because they were never once looking at you. They were reading the car the whole way up. The car got so loud that it finally drowned out the man paying for it. Somewhere right now, someone is pulling into a lot that matters in a car, held together with tape and hope, watching a stranger decide the worst of them before the engine is even off. And somewhere else, a man is stepping out of $1 million while a crowd leans past him to photograph the thing he arrived in, asking him gently to move out of the frame. One of them is being called a danger. One of them is being called a king. Neither of them is being seen. They're the same person in different seats, and the only thing that ever changed was the story the metal told about them before they got the chance to tell their own. The car changes at every level. The man in the seat never does. The world just keeps reading the car, all the way up and all the way down, and calling it him.